After reading Mark's diary, I discovered he lied about our entire relationship timeline. I thought we were exclusive, I thought, shocked, as he described affairs with coworkers and an obsession with another girl. How do I trust someone who was no miss? I apologize for my English. It is not my first language, but I hope someone will understand what I wrote and give me some advice. The post will be lengthy, so I appreciate everyone who reads it in its entirety. I 26 female and my boyfriend, 26 male, have been together for almost a year now. For the purpose of this post, I will refer to him as Mark. We initially met 5 years ago while working at the same company during the summer holidays. We went on a few dates, but nothing significant developed, and we lost touch. 2 years later, I saw him on Tinder and swiped right just for fun since he was an old acquaintance. We had both been in different relationships in the meantime, which had ended a few months prior. Our reunion turned into a casual affair that lasted about 2.5 months. I realized I had feelings for him, but pretended to be content with just being casual partners because it seemed like he did not want a relationship at that time. Our romance faded naturally, and we did not communicate for a few months until he reached out and invited me for a beer. Nothing sexual occurred or was even mentioned. It was simply a friendly conversation, and we went out a couple more times. A month and a half later, I discovered he had a girlfriend, and they had been together for at least 3 months at that point. As you can imagine, I was surprised, as he never indicated he was with anyone. I also felt hurt because I thought our romance had ended due to his busy schedule, and since he had a girlfriend, I felt like there was something wrong with me for him not wanting to pursue a relationship. I decided to confront him. I wanted to know if I might have been doing something wrong, whether there was something about my personality I needed to improve, and so on. I genuinely just wanted some feedback and a male perspective. He provided me with a very respectful, lengthy response. He said that there had simply been a misunderstanding. He desired a relationship with me, but I gave him the impression that I was fine with a purely sexual connection. He complimented me generously, especially on my personality, and it was painful to learn he was with someone else, but it also taught me the importance of expressing my feelings more openly. I told him that I needed time to process everything. I wanted to be friends with him, but I had to overcome my resentment first. I did not want to pretend to be his friend while secretly hoping for him and his girlfriend to break up. I wished them both well, even though it pained me. I did not want to be a toxic person, so I informed him that I could not maintain contact until I had moved past my feelings. I deleted all of our conversations and moved on. He texted me 5 months later, asking if I wanted to go out. He acknowledged that I had expressed a desire to keep my distance, but said he wanted me to know that if I agreed, we could have a drink as friends. I accepted. At that point, I had moved on from him. I had worked diligently on myself over the past few months and finally built my self-esteem to a level where I no longer felt the need for male validation. I was fine being single and wanted to concentrate on achieving my goals. I had also gained more experience in various types of romantic relationships and realized that low-commitment relationships were not suitable for me. I tend to form attachments too quickly, so I promised myself that my next relationship, whenever it occurs, must be serious and exclusive. Our casual beer date evolved into regular meetings and conversations. We discussed everything, including our past relationships and what went wrong. He became a really good friend, and for the first time I felt free to be myself around a man. I did not feel the overwhelming urge to impress him. I asserted myself, called him out on his shortcomings, and I could tell that he respected that. We both transformed significantly from the people we were when we first met. This dynamic lasted for 5 months, and then we decided to become a couple. It felt very natural, as if we had genuinely gotten to know each other and understood our desires. I could see that over the past few months, he had made a real effort to amend his previous behavior and had been pursuing me actively. Here we are nearly a year later as a couple. I can sincerely say that I am very happy in our relationship. He treats me extremely well, supports my aspirations, and encourages me to strive for more in my life. He is caring and affectionate. Last year was not easy for me. I discovered I had health issues. My father passed away unexpectedly. I had to relocate. I lost my job, and I did not receive payment for the last month I worked. It was very intense, and he stood by me throughout all of this. We are also planning to move in together soon, and we have discussed topics like marriage and having children in the future. I love him deeply, and I can envision us growing old together. A couple of days ago, he went on a business trip and allowed me to stay in his apartment because I am experiencing some challenges with my roommate and wanted some peace. I was studying and needed some paper to jot a few ideas down, so I opened one of the notebooks on the shelf next to the desk. It turned out to be Mark's diary. He began writing in it around the time we first met. I know it was wrong, but I read it. I discovered that around the time we had our first few dates, he was really into a girl he met online. They had not met in person, but he was infatuated with her. He wrote so beautifully about her, and he was very sad when she ignored him or did not respond to his messages. I would have found it endearing if not for the fact that he was seeing me at the time. We were not exclusive, and we did not engage in anything beyond kissing, but I still would have liked to know that he had feelings for someone else. The worst part is that, at the same time, he was having an affair with another girl who worked at the same company we did. Throughout all this time, he never mentioned that they had a relationship, even though I brought her up several times while reminiscing about our time working together. I feel foolish now. Despite him meeting me at that time, I was barely mentioned in his diary. He only referenced me once in comparison to the girl he was infatuated with. He recorded that his friend said I was much prettier, but in his Mark's opinion, I was not amiss. He only noted that we were not going to see each other again, and that was all. Then 2 years later, during our brief affair, he wrote that this was the last time he saw me because I was not the right person for him. Why then did he lie months later and tell me he wanted a relationship with me? During our relationship, he only alluded to me in relation to what he did that day. I went to a restaurant with Zeiss, but there were no lovey-dovey descriptions of love like he had for that one girl. Another point, Mark has a female friend. She is currently in a long-term relationship with her girlfriend. They met on Tinder and went on a date during the period we did not see each other for 2 years. I was comfortable with this, thinking they simply realized they were not a match and became friends. I actually encouraged him to spend more time with her, believing it would benefit him to go out with friends instead of merely staying home and working. He told me they only kissed, and later resumed contact and developed a strong friendship since she helped him heal from a breakup. However, from his diary, I discovered they had sex without penetration, but still. This revelation changed my perception of their relationship, and I feel like an idiot for not knowing that. When we began our relationship last year, he introduced me to her. Would I have gone along knowing that his friend was also his past lover? Probably not, because it is rather awkward. One final matter, the girl he was with before he reached out to me again after I went silent. He stated they broke up at the end of November or the beginning of December, but from the diary I learned they actually broke up in January. He contacted me in January, no more than 2 weeks after their breakup. I just feel foolish, as if he literally tried to be with everyone else before settling with me. I never felt like he settled for me, not once during our relationship. He frequently says he loves me and does romantic things for me. He tells me I am beautiful very often, but now I cannot help but wonder if he is being dishonest about everything. If he did not find me attractive back then, why even ask me out? I am also struggling to believe his compliments are genuine right now because I have not changed significantly. I merely stopped dyeing my hair and have returned to my natural color, and I have enough money for nicer clothes. Aside from that, not much has altered about my appearance. Honestly, I did not anticipate him being so critical of me. I think I am quite pretty. I have not questioned that in years because many people from both genders have told me likewise. I am not implying that everyone should share that view, but among all people I would have thought my boyfriend would. I understand he wrote this 5 years ago, but still. And what else might he have lied about? I am just unsure how I can trust him with anything right now. I can genuinely state that I have not lied about anything to him. Honesty is crucial to me. Perhaps he has not disclosed these things because he knew it would cast him in a poor light. So Reddit, what should I do? Should I confront him? Should I tell him that I read his diary? TLDR, from the diary I discovered that when I first met my boyfriend, he was having an affair with our coworker and had a crush on a girl he met online. He never disclosed this even though I mentioned her multiple times in our conversations. He lied about not being intimate with one of his friends during the time we lost contact before becoming a couple. He lied to me about the timeline of his breakup with his previous girlfriend. From the diary, I discovered he was single for only 2 weeks before reaching out to me again. If lying comes so easily to him, I am beginning to wonder what else he has lied about. Story 2. My boyfriend insisted on a healthy routine, but as a night owl, he disrupts my sleep and says I shouldn't be mad. After spending all night battling insomnia, my frustration peaked as he joked, "I didn't get the memo about your PMS. Am I wrong for wanting some peace?" We have been in a relationship on and off for 6 years, primarily maintaining a long-distance dynamic. When we first met, we spent a bit more than half of our time in the same town and were sleeping together every day. At that time, we were both working the night shift, but he in particular insisted that we should transition off the night shift. He often discussed the healthy lifestyle he aspired to lead, which included getting up every morning, going to the gym, having a routine, and so forth. We lived separately for several years, and then last year he came to live with me. While he was there, he consistently interrupted my sleep. By that point, I had become very accustomed to sleeping alone. Although I had recently returned to the night shift temporarily when he moved in, I switched to day shift shortly before he eventually moved out. We had numerous arguments about various issues, which primarily stemmed from the strain that distance had placed on our relationship and how incompatible our lifestyles were. I kept believing that he would finally start doing the things he had said he would always do and take care of himself. During the several months he lived with me, I did not push him to work on these issues. I was simply trying to give him time to care for himself and adapt to his own schedule. However, he claimed that our disagreements made it too difficult for him, and he ended up moving back in with his family. That was a year ago. Since then, although we agreed to separate, we have been seeing each other on and off long distance and have not dated anyone else. A family member of his had cats, and initially when I visited him last year, the cats were staying on the porch. We had a period of silence this fall, and when we began talking again, I discovered that the cats and the litter box had been moved to his room. Now, most of the time, they are confined to his room, because his family claims it is unsafe for them to roam around the house unattended. I do not mind spending a few moments with the cats. While I am not really a cat person, it could be a pleasant experience to pet the cat for a little while. However, with the cats now locked in the room all night, it has become an issue. I just stayed with him last night. He expressed that he did not want me to book a hotel because he gets bored and has nothing to do when I go to bed early. So instead, he remains awake on the twin-sized bed playing his Xbox, frequently moving around and making comments. Alternatively, he might be at his computer making noise. I already struggle to sleep most of the time, and this week I was particularly having difficulty. I am about to start my menstrual cycle, which only exacerbates the issue. My sleep quality has already been quite poor over the past few nights, and I was feeling very frazzled. However, he wanted me to visit, so I thought it would be a nice idea for us to get a massage together, hoping it might help me relax before bedtime. We went and had an amazing massage that I paid for. It was my treat. I did not mind doing something nice for him and with him, especially if it meant that my sleep would improve. I could have easily stayed home and gotten a massage alone, but I thought it would be a nice experience for us to share together. I was looking forward to seeing him. Anyway, we returned that evening, and I stayed up with him for a while, even though I was feeling quite sleepy. Eventually, I began to wind down and prepare for sleep around 11 or 12, but he started playing on the Xbox. Each time I began to drift off, I was awakened by his movements, noises, or the sounds made by the cats. They kept scratching at things, jumping off items, knocking things over, and leaping onto the bed. I cannot tell you how many times I was awakened within an hour or two, and I finally could not keep trying to fall asleep. Feeling increasingly irritated and angry, I raised my voice to express my frustration and became a bit emotional around 1:30 a.m. After calming down, I decided to take melatonin. Around 2 a.m., I began to feel sleepy. My boyfriend was still awake. He mentioned he wanted to prepare tea and said he would come to bed after smoking a cigarette, promising he would join me in about 15 minutes. He did not come into the bedroom until at least 3 a.m. and then had to go to the bathroom and brush his teeth. Even after that, he still did not go to sleep. He was lying in bed on his phone, which did not keep me awake per se, but it made it a bit more difficult to get comfortable given his position in that small bed. I turned on the television to help drown out some of the noise from the cats, and he kindly allowed me to leave it on. The cats continued to disturb my sleep for a little while after this, but eventually I fell asleep for about 3 hours. The television eventually turned off for some reason or another, and I woke up to a cat scratching something, and that was it. I was awake for the day. I have asked my boyfriend why he moved the cats into his bedroom, and it seems he did not think it was fair for them to have to remain on the porch alone. They are not my animals, so I do not feel I have a say in the matter, but I cannot live like this, and I am unsure if I am being unreasonable in my feelings. I do not believe I can continue seeing him if this situation persists. He does not seem to understand why I become so angry when he wakes me up during my struggles with insomnia. When we first met, I did not experience as much trouble with my sleep, and I was less bothered by the lack of sleep because I was younger. Nowadays, I find it challenging to fall asleep and stay asleep, even without any external disturbances. He becomes upset with me when I start to show my anger, which makes me feel guilty. He also tends to trivialize the situation and does not seem to grasp its seriousness for me. He has said things like, "You did not tell me you were premenstrual and that this would be an issue," even though I did inform him that I was, or that he was unaware that my motivation for getting the massage was related to my desire to sleep better. To be fair, I did not state that explicitly, but I did express my struggles with sleep and how I was not feeling well, suggesting it would be a positive experience for us. He asserts that I should know he is not going to bed early and that I should not be angry with him or the cats, which I understand. They are simply doing their own thing, but I am genuinely trying to take care of myself these days. The interruption of my efforts to make a long-distance journey to see him is already significant. Feeling like another day is wasted due to exhaustion adds to my frustration. My cortisol levels are elevated, my immune system feels compromised, and I just feel miserable and upset. In summary, my boyfriend, who is a night owl, and the lively cats he keeps in his bedroom at night are severely affecting my ability to sleep. I am uncertain whether I am being too difficult or if my frustration and specificity are justified. I am also unsure if there are any possible solutions to this situation or if I am merely being unreasonable.